Hello there, 6th grade math students. This is Chapter 8.1, Solving Algebraic Equations. We're going to review some concepts that we learned in 5th grade math, where we learned to solve equations with a variable on one side. Let's get started. Let's begin by using substitution to solve simple algebraic equations. The figure I've drawn here shows a balance. Let's find the value of x such that the left side balances the right side. In other words, let's find a value of x that keeps everything equal and doesn't unbalance our scale. So on the left side, we have x plus 5 counters. And on the right side, we have 8 counters. Since the two sides balance each other, x plus 5 equals 8. X plus 5 equals 8 is called an algebraic equation. It's an equation because it has an equal sign. It's algebraic because it contains a variable. So now to solve this equation, we need to find the value of x that makes x plus 5 equals 8 true. The first technique you can use to try to solve this equation is guess and check. If x equals 1, then our equation is not true. If x equals 2, our equation is still not true. If x equals 3, then our equation balances and our solution is x equals 3. Guess and check is certainly not the most efficient way to solve an algebraic equation. Another way is to use mental math. X plus 5 equals 8. I bet the answer for x popped right into your head, because I bet automatically you use mental math to think, how much less than 8 is 5? Well, 3, right? So you probably automatically came to the conclusion that x equals 3, because 8 minus 5 equals 3. Now let's go on to using substitution for a multiplication problem. This balanced scale shows us that 3x is equal to 12. Once again, let's use the guess and check technique to find a value of x that makes 3x equals 12 true. If x equals 1, 3 times 1 does not equal 12. If x equals 2, 3 times 2 does not equal 12. If x equals 3, 3 times 3, nope, still doesn't equal 12. If x equals 4, 3 times 4, finally equals 12. So our solution is that x equals 4. Once again, you can use mental math to solve this instead. Think about x as a number. What times 3 equals 12? Well, it's 4. So you can use mental math to solve this as well. Try a few of these on your own. For problem 1, answer for what value of x will x plus 3 equal 7 be true. For numbers 2 through 7, solve each equation using the substitution method. You can either use guess and check or mental math, whichever is best for you. Now let's learn a much more practical and reliable technique for solving algebraic equations that involve addition or subtraction. The equation x plus 6 equals 9 is represented on this balance scale. The dots represent one counter, and the x in the box represents x counters. To solve for x, we want to isolate x. We want to get it by itself. So let's take 6 counters away from the left side and watch what happens to our scale. When we take those 6 counters away from the left side, our scale becomes unbalanced. X plus 6 minus 6, or x all by itself, is less than 9. So how do we fix this? We fix it by removing 9 counters from the right-hand side to rebalance our scale. So to summarize the steps that we just completed, let's begin with our original equation, which was x plus 6 equals 9. We're going to subtract 6 from each side so that we can isolate x. We want to get x by itself so we can find out its value. An important note when you're solving problems like this, keep your equal signs level. Keep them lined up. So now we're going to write x plus 6 minus 6 And whatever we do to one side, we must do to the other to keep our equation balanced and our scale level. So now x plus 6 minus 6 will equal x. 9 minus 6 will equal 3. So our solution is x equals 3. You could have solved this with guess and check, but this solution, or this method, is much more reliable, particularly when the problems become more complicated. Now let's try this example, which uses subtraction. 6 is equal to x minus 3. Okay, so remember, we want to get x by itself. We want to isolate it so that we can find out its value. How do we get x by itself? Right, we would add 3. But whatever we do to one side of our equation, we must also do to the other. So let's add 3 to the left side as well and solve. 3 plus 6 equals 9. X minus 3 plus 3 equals x. So our solution is that x is equal to 9. If you want to check your work, the best thing to do is to substitute in your solution. So 6 equals x minus 3. Let's substitute in that 9. And yes, indeed, 6 is equal to 6. So we solved our equation correctly. Try these 5 problems on your own. Make sure to keep the equations balanced by repeating whichever process you do on the left on the right-hand side as well. Press pause while you work. I have more for you when you get back. Now let's begin to solve equations that involve multiplication or division. Let's solve the equation 2x equals 12. If we want to get x by itself, what do we need to do? 2x means 2 times x, so we need to reverse that process to get x by itself. We're going to divide this side by 2. But remember, whatever we do to one side, we must repeat on the other side to keep our equation balanced. So we also need to divide 12 by 2. 2x divided by 2 gives us x. 12 divided by 2 gives us 6. So in the equation 2x equals 12, x is valued at 6. Once again, you can check your work by substituting your solution back in. And indeed, 2 times 6 does equal 12. What if our variable is being divided by another number? In this equation, y divided by 3 equals 4. How would we isolate y? We would multiply each side of our equation by 3, correct? 3 times y over 3 would be equal to 4 times 3. Now what does this do for us? It lets us cross-reduce, see? And that gets y by itself. 3 times 4 is 12. So our value for y is 12. Let's check our solution by substituting. 12 over 3 is equal to 4. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So our solution is correct. Now please work out these problems involving multiplication and division on your own. Solve for the variable. Remember to keep your equation balanced by completing each action on both sides of the equation. Press pause while you work. We have one final idea before we're finished with Chapter 8.1. Let's wrap up this lesson by solving algebraic equations that involve fractions. Let's solve the equation x plus 1/10 equals 3/10. Write your answer in simplest form. First, we need to decide which operation to use. Since 1/10 is added to our variable, we're going to subtract 1/10 from each side of the equation. So x plus 1/10 minus 1/10. Notice I'm keeping my equal signs lined up. 3/10 minus 1/10 will be on the right. X plus 1/10 minus 1/10 gives us x. 3/10 minus 1/10 give us 2/10. Since we're asked to give our answer in simplest form, we need to reduce that fraction to 1/5. So our solution is x equals 1/5. What if our fraction problem requires multiplication or division? 3y equals 2/3. Since y is multiplied by 3, we're going to need to divide each side by 3. So 3y divided by 3 is equal to 2/3 divided by 3. That'll give us y being equal to 2/3 times 1/3. Remember, we drop this down, change it into a multiplication sign, multiply by the reciprocal. That's 5th grade math stuff. I hope you remember it. And now we multiply across to get 2/9. So y is equal to 2/9. All right, folks, you've made it to the end of chapter 8.1. Finish these 3 practice problems that involve fractions. When I see you tomorrow, we'll do more work together on solving algebraic equations. See you then.